Prince William had always known that returning to the UK would be difficult, but he had never imagined it would be this painful. As his plane touched down at Heathrow, a storm of emotions surged within him: regret, fear, and an overwhelming sense of responsibility. The weight of history, family, and duty pressed down on his chest, making it hard to breathe. For years, he had carried the burden of his title with unwavering dedication. But now, as he stepped onto British soil, he was no longer just Prince William. He was a son who had left wounds unhealed, a brother estranged from the one person who once stood by his side through everything. It was his biggest fear, facing the ghosts of the past, the broken ties, and the disappointment in the eyes of those he once called family. The rift between him and his brother, Prince Harry, had grown deeper than he had ever anticipated. Misunderstandings, words left unsaid, and years of bitterness had built an invisible wall between them. And now, as the moment of reconciliation loomed, William feared it might be too late. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. A tearful reunion. The palace was quiet when he arrived, the grand halls echoing his hesitant footsteps. His father, King Charles, awaited him in the drawing room. The sight of him, aged yet regal, weary yet composed, sent a sharp pang through William's heart. This was a man who had seen so much, endured so much, and yet still carried the weight of the crown with dignity. When their eyes met, no words were needed. William dropped to his knees in front of his father, his voice breaking as he whispered, "I'm sorry." Tears welled in his eyes, his usual composure crumbling under the weight of unspoken words. He had been away too long, caught up in the whirlwind of royal duties and personal struggles. He had let pride and stubbornness dictate his choices, and now he was left with the pain of knowing how much time had been lost. King Charles, ever the composed monarch, placed a gentle hand on his son's shoulder. "We are family, William," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "That's all that matters." The hardest conversation. But the hardest conversation was yet to come. As he made his way to the garden, where Harry stood waiting, William's heart pounded in his chest. The brother he had grown up with, the one who had been his closest ally, was now the person he feared facing the most. Harry turned as William approached, his expression unreadable. The years apart had changed them both, but the pain in his eyes was unmistakable. For a moment, neither spoke. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, William said, "I never meant for things to get this bad." Harry's jaw tightened, but he nodded. "Neither did I." The silence stretched between them before William did something he hadn't done in years. He embraced his brother. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't enough to undo the past, but it was a start. And as tears fell freely, forgiveness, slow, painful but real, began to take root. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.